Welcome to Grace in the Shadows. This is Dr. Marla Beeler and
Dr. J.
And Cy, our mascot. We just wanted to tell you a little bit about Grace in the Shadows. We do have a podcast. We also have a ministry run by us, and Jonathan, Dr. Jonathan Beeler, is also a therapist, a Christian therapist. He has his, go ahead.
I am licensed in Alabama and North Carolina.
Yes.
Working on Virginia.
Absolutely.
And I do pastoral counseling all over.
Mm-hmm.
And so we definitely, Christ is the center. I have people that aren't Christian, but I have a lot of people that are, and we see the Bible as very central in the biblical principles aspects. And we also try to help people find strength and peace and purpose in the midst of suffering and hardship. And ultimately, our goal is to show them how God can take their mess, turn into a message for God's glory, for their good.
Now, what are some of the things you work on? Marriage counseling, family counseling?
I do marriage counseling, family counseling. I do adults. I do have a couple children. I have had adolescents, although not many.
Right.
I do things with anxiety, borderline personality disorder, OCD. I said marriage, addiction. Have a few addiction.
Pastors.
I have a PhD in psychology. Am I boring you, Si? I have a PhD in psychology, and I did my thesis on pastors and resiliency in ministry. And so I love clergy. I love working with people that are professionals within the church.
Absolutely. We also have an Etsy store called shadowsofgrace.etsy.com. Jonathan goes on mission trips, and we also hope to someday have a ministry where we minister to burned out pastors, displaced pastors, missionaries, and their families.
Yeah.
So, you'll hear us talking about that sometimes. We're also a Covenant Eyes affiliate, and we have a link in our show notes on our podcast where you can get a free board blocker.
It's not free. It's free for a month.
Right. Free for a month. Yes. And you can use the promo code GRACE1998.
Yes. Very good. Yeah.
So God put this in our mind, the title, the name of the ministry and the podcast several years ago when we were actually going through
our own tough time. Yeah.
And
dark time.
Yeah.
And in the dark time, we could see God's grace in the midst of the dark shadows.
Absolutely.
Shadows are just shadows. That's why, it says in Psalm 23, although we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we fear no evil. And because of the shadows, we don't need to fear shadows. They're just a shadow. They're scary, but they don't hurt us because they're not really real.
Absolutely. So do please check us out. We would love to hear from you. And thanks for listening. And thanks for following us. Bye-bye.